Hi, Lainey. Mimi and Poppy didn't know what to get you for your second birthday. And since we don't get to see you very often, or as often as we would like anyway, and we very rarely get to read to you, Mimi thought I'm gonna start reading you a book so that you can look at it every night when you want to, okay? So this is our first book that Mimi's gonna read to you, and it's called Guess How Much I Love You. This was a book that I used to read to your daddy when he was little, okay? All right, our first book. Gigi bought this for your daddy and Auntie Madison when Madison was born that Christmas. So it's an old book, as old as Auntie Maddie. Guess How Much I Love You. Little Nut Brown Hair, who was going to bed, held on tight to Big Nut Brown Hair, very long ears. He wanted to be sure that Big Nut Brown Hair was listening. Guess how much I love you, he said. Oh, I don't think I could guess that, said Big Nut Brown Hair. What animal are Big Nut Brown Hair and Little Nut Brown Hair, Lainey? What kind of animal are they? This much, said Little Nut Brown Hair, stretching out his arms as wide as they could go. See him standing on the tree stump with his little arms stretched. Big Nut Brown Hair had even longer arms. But I love you this much, he said. That is a lot, thought Little Nut Brown Hair. Look how big Big Nut Brown Hair is, and his arms stretched so wide. I love you as high as I can reach, said Little Nut Brown Hair. Look at him stretching tall. I love you as high as I can reach, said Big Nut Brown Hair. That is very high, thought Little Nut Brown Hair. I wish I had arms like that. That's like your daddy having such big, long arms, right, Lainey? Then Little Nut Brown Hair had a good idea. He tumbled upside down and reached up the tree trunk with his feet. Look, he's standing upside down. Look at that silly bunny. I love you all the way up to my toes, he said. Look at that. And I love you all the way up to your toes, said Big Nut Brown Hair, swinging him up over his head. Look how high Little Nut Brown Hair is. He's up high in the sky. I love you as high as I can hop, laughed Little Nut Brown Hair, bouncing up and down, just like a bunny does. But I love you as high as I can hop, smiled Big Nut Brown Hair, and he hopped so high that his ears touched the branches above. Look at that. That's good hopping, thought Little Nut Brown Hair. I wish I could hop like that. I love you all the way down the lane as far as the river, cried Little Nut Brown Hair. I love you across the river and over the hills, said Big Nut Brown Hair. That's very far, thought Little Nut Brown Hair. He was almost too sleepy to think anymore. Then he looked beyond the thorn bushes out into the big dark night. Nothing could be farther than the sky. I love you right up to the moon, he said, and he closed his eyes. Oh, that's far, said Big Nut Brown Hair. That is very, very far. See the moon way up high in the sky? Big nut brown hair settled little nut brown hair into his bed of leaves, and he leaned over and kissed him good night. See him sleeping all cozy in the garden. Then he lay down close by and whispered with a smile, "I love you right up to the moon and back. And Mimi loves you all the way up to the moon and back. We love you. Sleep well. Good night, my dear."